It was a quiet morning, after over 24 hours of relentless rain, and it hadn't stopped yet. Across the city, many localities are waterlogged. Now people are waiting for the skies to clear. Due to waterlogging across the city, Ishan's school is closed today. His mother had received a message from the school authorities last evening. Ishan sat in the balcony with a warm mug of hot chocolate. His school was closed because of the rain, but to Ishan, this was the best kind of day. His grandfather sat in the balcony beside Ishan, comfortably settled in a chair, reading the morning newspaper. Grandpa, Ishan said, turning toward the armchair beside him. Can you tell me a story about rainy days when you were a kid? His eyes full of curiosity. Grandpa smiled, the way he always did, slowly lowered his newspaper, and, ready to share a magical story from his childhood. Ah, the rainy days of my childhood were something else, Grandpa began, his eyes twinkling with memories. We did not have video games or PlayStations back then. So, instead of staying indoors, we would rush outside the moment the first raindrop touched the ground. We would splash in the mud, race down the lanes, and play football like there was no tomorrow. The field would be soaking wet, and we slipped and slid with every kick on the ball. One time, my friend Ravi kicked the ball, but it went straight into a puddle and just stopped there, like it was glued to the mud. And me? Grandpa continued. I slipped trying to kick it and landed flat on my back. The whole team laughed. Even I couldn't stop laughing. Ishan giggled, imagining Grandpa as a muddy little boy, sliding across a field. But there's one memory I will never forget, Grandpa said, leaning back on his chair. Let me tell you about the great paper boat race of 1965. Ishan's eyes widened with excitement. Grandpa, you had paper boat races? Oh yes. Grandpa chuckled, his voice dancing with nostalgia. When it rained, it was festival for children. The world became our playground. Every flowing stream on the road turned into a mighty river for our paper boats. One day, during the heaviest rain, as I can remember, I folded the biggest and sturdiest boat I had ever made. It had a small red flag, a name, the Thunderfish, and I even placed tiny pebbles inside to keep it steady. Ishan leaned forward and said, The Thunderfish? What happened next? The kids gathered by the big mango tree where a long drain carried rainwater down the lane. We lined up our boats and, with a cheer, released them. Thunderfish started slowly, but then a gust of wind gave it a push. It zoomed ahead, leaping over ripples, weaving past floating leaves. It was like watching a real ship in a storm. Thunderfish was almost winning. Did you win? Ishan asked eagerly. Well, Grandpa paused, with a mischievous smile. I almost did. But just before the finish line, a big frog jumped onto my boat. Poor Thunderfish sunk with a splash right in front of everyone. Everyone laughed, even me. Ishan burst into laughter. That frog was the real winner, he said. Grandpa nodded, smiling. It is not always about winning, my boy. The real joy is in the adventure. Ishan looked down at the tiny stream running along the balcony floor. It sparkled in the rain, just like the ones in Grandpa's story. Grandpa, do you think if I made a paper boat now, it would float down there? Grandpa smiled and handed him an old newspaper. Only one way to find out, he said. And so, Ishan folded his very first paper boat, just like Grandpa once had. Ishan gently set the boat afloat. Two boats, two memories, one from the past, one just beginning, sailed side by side on a rainy day. Sometimes, the best adventures don't need any plans. Just a rainy day, a paper boat, and someone to share stories with. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe our channel.